Hello and welcome to this video here on the Yoga by Candice YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a practice for people with fallen arches. So if you have fallen arches, typically you can tell one of two ways. You can have someone take a photo of you from the front, and when you look at that photo, you can just look straight down and maybe you see it here, but a really good indicator is taking this photo. When you look at the photo, you'll typically see people with their toes pointed out like this, and then I'm gonna try to do this, but it's very hard to do if you don't have fallen arches. Your knees kind of go in like that. So it's like knees in, toes out, and your toes kind of like the outer edge of the feet, they kind of like lift up a bit. So take a photo, see, or look down and see if that's you. Whew. If that's you, we're going to help to lift up those arches, but you will need a couple things. You're gonna need a foam roller. That's gonna really help you, because what this typically means is that the inside of the legs, they're not really working as well as they could be, and the outside of the legs are so super tight. So we're gonna need to foam roll that tightness. You'll also need a chair, and that's what we're gonna use to strengthen the adductors, the inner thighs here. So let's get started. You can set your chair off to the side for now. I'll grab it in a sec, but let's begin with our foam rolling. So you'll come down. I like to put my hip on the foam roller, and then you can use your foot here to move your body. And then you can just go alongside the IT band. And if you find a really tender spot, you can pause this video and hold it for at least 30 seconds. If you find that it's really, really difficult for you, it's like almost in the realm of painful, what you could do is contract the muscles, so firm up these leg muscles and then foam roll that way and see if that's helpful. Then we're gonna do the peroneals. So the peroneals are these, it's alongside this lower part of the leg. So I'm just gonna move this foam roller down, get my leg on it, and then once again you can use this foot to help. And then if you find a tender spot, pause the video, hold it there, and then we'll do it on the other side. So when you're wanting to work on your posture, and for our purposes here, lift the arches, it's both about developing that flexibility on the lateral part of the leg and the strength in the inner thighs, as much as it is training your mind-body awareness. So when you're in a standing position, like say you're washing the dishes or you're walking the dog, you always want to be looking, I mean not always, but you want to look down at your feet and just make sure, are my toes pointed forward? Because now it's just second nature to walk and stand with your toes pointed out and the arch is fallen. But one of the tips I have is to visualize a footprint in the sand and place your weight in that footprint in the sand. So let's do that now. Stand up tall. Feet are about hip distance, so you might have to look down, find the heads of your femur, and then go straight down and make sure your feet are hip distance and toes are pointed totally forward. So think about a footprint in the sand, and you're gonna press into that footprint area. So you're gonna be putting a little bit more weight on the outside edges of the feet, the heels, and all through the toes. And just notice what that feels like. For many of you, depending on how extreme your toe turning out is, this is gonna feel really, really awkward. You're gonna feel maybe your glute medius working. Press a little bit more firmly into the outside edges of the feet. Glute medius is going to firm up here as you do that. Press into your big toe, your heels. Now as you do this, have a little micro bend in your knees. Not a huge bend, little tiny micro bend. You wouldn't even see it if I turned to the side. Just notice what it feels like. Bring your hands to your low part of the ribs. If they're winging out, you feel them like pointy, position them so they kind of go straight down. Imagine your upper body's like a cylinder. You don't want it to be tipping back, that cylinder. You want it to be just up and down. Beautiful. Begin to shift your weight over onto your right foot. Bring your hands to your hips. Slowly begin to take your left knee out in front of you. Flex your left foot. Notice if this hip wants to come up or if this hip wants to come up, and see if you can just keep them even. Hips coming up is an indicator of the glute medius being weak. So just notice which side, if either side is weak. See if you can get a little tiny baby squat down and up. And as you do this, press into that footprint. Down and up, squeeze your butt at the top, and you don't want to lock out your leg, a little micro bend. Down and up. And then slowly step down with that left foot, lift your right knee. Notice if one of these hips, now that you're on a different side, wants to come up. Make sure you look down at your foot. Make sure your foot is pointed totally forward. Down and up. As you do this, imagine yourself balancing on a railroad track with a footprint in the railroad track. I know it's weird. And make sure that the knee stays in line with that railroad track. You don't want it to go way out or way in. One more down and up. Great job. And step down. From here, turn the toes out. It's okay. We're going to sit low. See if you can sit so low that the shins are perpendicular to the ground. And as you do that, drive your knees back if they want to come in. We don't want them in. I'm going to go like this. We don't want them in like this. We want them really kind of in line with the ankles as much as possible. Make sure that your front ribs haven't opened up. And we'll do a little pulse here. Now put most of your weight into that footprint visualization. So press especially hard into your toes, your heels, the outside edges of your feet. Woo! And you'll feel it. You'll feel your glutes working. You'll feel your adductors strengthen. And we'll go down and up just like this for 5, 4, 3, 2, one more. Great job. Turn your back foot so your toes point straight out. We're going to step this front foot away from your back foot and align the heel with the arch of your back foot. Now press into the footprint here in this back foot, hands to your hips, feel your hips even, then open up your arms. Take your gaze out over your front middle finger, press into the footprint on the front side. Now just notice, is this different from how you normally do Warrior Two if you're a yoga practitioner? Now from here, we're going to straighten, wow, and then lower the front knee. Straighten and lower, one more. And then rise up straight. Turn the front toes to this, face the long edge of your mat. The back foot will pivot. Align the heel with the arch of the foot. Press into your footprints, and then lower down into it. Want to have your knee either behind your ankle or over top, but not out in front. Really press into the footprints. Feel your hips even first. Find your low ribs. Tuck them straight down so the cylinder of your upper body is straight and not tipped up and back. Open up your arms. Really press into the outside edges of the feet, the big toes, the heels. Notice what this feels like on this side. Sometimes we have just one foot that wants to go out to the side, maybe due to like an ankle injury, rolling the ankle. And then we'll straighten the leg and bend. Straighten the leg and bend. So this is a really great exercise for people with fallen arches. I'll tell you why. When you straighten and bend the front leg, if you're pressing into the right place, into the footprint, you are using your glutes and you are strengthening the adductor there. Lower down and hold for a sec. And in the back leg, when you press into the footprint, you are lengthening and stretching the peroneals, the side, side of the lower part of the leg, which we know is really tight. That's what's responsible for pulling your toes out. So rise back up, straight legs. We'll turn to the front and then heel toe back in. Grab hold of your chair and then come to lie on your side. You're going to take most of the lower part of your leg onto this chair, lower down onto your forearm. Press into the forearm so that you are lifting up. And then firm up through your core. Bring your hand to your hip. You're going to press in gently and feel it fire on. So you can tap, tap, tap. You feel your adductors working. This might be enough for some of you. Hold here and squeeze for 30 seconds, or lift up and lower. Lift up and lower. Lift up and lower. Lift up and lower. 2 more. And release. So this is going to strengthen the adductor. Beginners should start with just the squeeze, most of the lower part of the leg on the chair. And if you feel like you want to give it a try lifting up and down, you do a couple of them. And when you progress, you'll take it so your ankle and your foot is on. That's a more challenging version of that up and down. All right, let's do it on the other side. Like I said, you might find that one side of your body is more restricted than the other. So just notice what you notice, don't judge. Forearm comes down, elbow underneath the shoulder. Press and lift so you're not sinking into it with your ear by your shoulder. Firm up through your core, most of the lower leg on the chair. Your toes are pointed out to the same side that you're facing. Press in and hold. We'll feel the adductors fire on. This is definitely my weak side, so I'm being really mindful here. You're never just gonna like put your leg down and fly up into it, because that's a force that your inner thighs are not gonna be ready for. So really be mindful. Less is more here, especially if you're a beginner. Squeeze and hold, hand comes to the hip, option to stay here. And if you are wanting to lift up and down, we go like this. Squeezing the whole time, slow and mindful. 2 more. And release. So, if you are somebody who is dealing with fallen arches, start to incorporate all of this stuff into your daily practice. It's going to be really helpful for you if you like super extreme with the toes turning out and the knees going in. Maybe start with twice a week and then work your way up to honestly daily, because it's really going to help strengthen what you need strengthened, lengthen what you need lengthened, and developing that mind-body awareness to look down. Am I walking with my toes pointed forward? Am I standing with my toes pointed forward? Do I have a little micro bend in that knee? Am I balancing? When I balance, am I making sure that my knees don't go out to the side? Or even something as simple as, you know, if you're sitting in a chair and you go to get up, just note, where am I putting my feet? Because you're probably used to putting them like this. So you just have to develop that mind-body awareness, that constant awareness of where the feet are, and then get up like so, rather than like this, you know, and that's how changes are made. So I hope this is helpful to you. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments section, and I'll see you very soon here at Yoga by Candace YouTube channel.